On the biggest stage in the world, FanDuel is changing the game because sometimes your player gets subbed off and your bet goes with them. Not anymore. With FanDuel Super Sub, if your player's subbed out, your bet stays in. That's right. If your player leaves the match, your bet continues on with the substitute. So you're still in it until the final whistle. Visit FanDuel.com. Get started now. Let there be goals this summer on FanDuel.
21 plus select states for Kansas in affiliation with Kansas Star Casino. 18 plus DCKYWY. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 1-800-MY-RESET. 888-789-7777. Visit ccpg.org/chat. Connecticut. Visit mdgamblinghelp.org. Maryland. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org. Call 800-327-5050. Massachusetts. Call 877-8-HOPE-NY. Text HOPE-NY in New York. Call 877-770-7867. Louisiana.
Visit FanDuel.com. Get started now. Let there be goals this summer on FanDuel.
Looking to see what's happening around your home? Ring's Battery Doorbell helps you track packages and see who's at your door in real time. The Outdoor Cam Plus protects your yard at night with a wide field of view and clearer Retinal 2K video. Or upgrade to 4K cameras and doorbells with Retinal Vision for ultra-clear zoom and detail. Your door, your yard, your home. With Ring, it's protected. Shop cameras, doorbells, and more at ring.com now.
The Larry Kudlow Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
And I want to continue the discussion of Elon Musk, the trillionaire, but from the standpoint of wealth creation, of all the people that work for him, and how these IPOs and our free enterprise system works, because the millionaires and billionaires and now the one trillionaire create a lot of wealth, which in turn creates even more wealth, which in turn creates even more wealth, even while Democrats want to tax wealth and tax millionaires. We're going to talk to Liz Peek, Fox News contributor, and Steve Moore, Unleash Prosperity Hotline, and WABC radio host of More Money, which pops up right after this show on most of these same radio stations. Welcome to both of you. Now, just to humor me, listen to this. This is a New York Sun article, was put out yesterday. Musk is a trillionaire, and SpaceX IPO is creating thousands of millionaires. Okay. So, let's see. Employees have accrued shares in the company over the past 24 years. All right, it's about 22,000 SpaceX employees. And this IPO, hang on to your hats, this IPO has created 4,000 millionaires, okay? 4,000 millionaires. Now, wait, it gets better. And 400 employees who joined the company before the successful rocket launch in 2008. 400 employees made more than 100 million on Friday, yesterday, with the IPO, okay? Now, hang on a second. Just listen. This is the guy's name. The author is Luke Funk. I don't know Mr. Funk, but he wrote a great article. SpaceX has around 22,000 employees. They gave stock options to a variety of hourly employees, including factory workers, machinists, and technicians. Now, listen to this. A former contract welder, Juan Hernandez, was eventually offered a full-time job earning $28 an hour. $28 an hour. He was given equity, invested after 5 years. He used part of his paycheck to buy properties around Texas, but kept the rest. Those shares are now worth $880,000. He's a $28 an hour welder, and he's now worth $880,000. Okay, so this is how capitalism works. This is how wealth creation works. Now, I'll go to you, Steve Moore, first, but Liz, this is a wonderful. Now, Elon Musk, this whole thing has captured the imagination. It's on the front pages of all the news. Everybody's talking about this thing. The first trillionaire, an immigrant, a legal immigrant from South Africa, Elon Musk. Okay, I'm sure the left is going to come out against this. They hate Elon Musk, et cetera, et cetera. The blue states politicians want to tax millionaires. in all these election issues. But look how this creates wealth for all these other people. All right? You don't have to have 5 advanced degrees. You don't have to have this and that. You've got a welder is worth close to $1 million. 4,000 millionaires were created. 400 of that group is now worth over $100 million. And this is the Microsoft story going back about 40 years, right? There are tens of thousands of millionaires living around Seattle, Washington, because of the Microsoft success down through the years, which they now, the blue people that run that thing want to tax it. I mean, Steve Moore, this is how free enterprise works.
No, it's a beautiful story. It's capitalism at its very, very best. Great editorial today in the Wall Street Journal about this called "Who's Afraid of a Trillionaire?"
Yes,
and they point out. I thought ironically that if Elon Musk were Chinese. Oh my God, we're running behind the Chinese. The Chinese are taking over, right. And yet he is an American. And by the way, I may be one of those people who was made a millionaire because I didn't even realize this until my wife Ann told me last night. We had bought into a tech stock fund about 8 years ago. Yeah. And guess what's in that fund?
Yeah.
SpaceX.
Yeah. No, me too.
$25,000. Our shares are probably close to $1 million.
Yes. I'm going to borrow.
I got a big smile on my face today.
I want to borrow from you. No, I'm in the same boat. By the way, it's another reason, Liz, it's another reason why you should buy and hold.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Stop trying to trade the market the way these geniuses do on Wall Street. How about buying and holding the indexes?
Look, I think this is a moment for the entire country to celebrate. Number one, yes. Elon Musk, as the Wall Street Journal pointed out, has made space cool again, has revived our interest in space, which, by the way, geopolitically and in many other ways, strategically, defensively, is going to be really important to the United States. So thank God for Elon Musk. And thank God he's an American, because he could have stayed in South Africa. And South Africa could have been reaping all these tremendous rewards. I am so offended by those who are offended by this. It is a stupid thing to not celebrate Elon Musk. He has worked his butt off to get here. And he is brilliant. He is absolutely brilliant. He's a visionary. Does everything he does work out? Not the way necessarily maybe the most optimistic people would have it, but it's been unbelievable series of technological successes, things like Neuralink, Larry, which have changed people's lives and may change millions of lives down the road. I mean, he's doing incredible stuff. So I feel like, the Knicks are winning. We've got the United States soccer team.
The soccer team won last night. I know.
Last night. And Elon Musk, kind of setting the world on fire with hopes and dreams. And to your point, sharing the wealth. I think it's just so exciting.
It's just that it's so important here to talk about how wealth is created. I mean, when people on the left want to tax millionaires or billionaires or anything, they don't understand, AOC and others, they do not understand how the free enterprise system works and how people who work for these companies have an opportunity. The people at the top of the company should be paid more, but everybody benefits, okay? It's not zero sum. It's win-win. It's always win-win. So these people, all these millionaires, 440 employees are now worth $100 million. Whatever they do, so they'll go out and start companies, right? And they'll hire more and more people. And if they go public, everybody get a piece of that rock too. That's how free enterprise works. That's how capitalism works. We shouldn't forget that. That's my point. The left who wants to tax this and confiscate the wealth must not be permitted to do, and we should put our best foot forward. These numbers from this IPO and the wealth creation should be repeated by every office holder, every Republican. If the Democrats are going to hate Elon Musk, fine. Then let the GOP come in, talk about how wealth is created, how businesses are created. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Liz.
I think you're totally right. I was just going to say, the other thing is, how does it hurt them? how does it hurt anyone that Elon Musk has hit a home run here? It doesn't. I mean, to your point, yes, there's enormous benefits being spread around, but it also doesn't hurt anybody.
That's right.
So he is just creating wealth. He's creating opportunity for, honestly, the New York Times, of course, has an article that's like, well, yeah, there's all this inequality, and you see this workers struggling, but Elon Musk but they can't make the case, because further on, there are thousands of people who have become millionaires overnight. And by the way, just
4,000 millionaires, and but wait, it's 4,000 millionaires were created. Now, do you think they're angry because Elon got more money than that? I think they're very happy. I'm just going to make a guess. Look at Steve Moore. He owns a piece of an index fund, and he's bragging about it here on the radio show.
The only good investment I've ever made in my life. But, I'll tell you a related story to this. I remember one of my friends from high school who was, very average student, and he went out to California after we graduated from high school and college, and he went and he worked for this company I'd never heard of before called Google. And I remember I went out and visited him, and he had this mansion. He said, Steve, this is the house that Google built.
Yes.
So this has been happening throughout history. And I want to make an important point here. This assault against the wealthy and the entrepreneurial class. This has been going on in this country for, with respect to the left, for 150 years. You go back to when they called the Gilded Age, when we had Henry Ford and Andrew Carnegie and Rockefeller. They created this mythology of the robber baron.
Right.
And basically what they're saying now is, Elon Musk is the new robber baron. No, he's not. These are the people who create, the whole idea of going into space, sending these satellites into the sky, there's a big debate now about data centers. Guess what? If he has enough satellites in the orbit, we're not going to need data centers. It's all going to be done.
By the way, I love the Gilded Age. The Gilded Age is one of my favorite periods in American history. I love the Gilded Age.
Your favorite president, Calvin Coolidge.
Yes.
Right?
Actually, it started with U.S. Grant and probably ended with Coolidge. You're exactly right. And they ran that stupid TV show, which made it look really bad. It made the Gilded Age look really bad. They ran that show, I think, for 2 years, and I just hated it. People don't understand. And by the way, analytically, wages had the most, average wages for workforce had the most extraordinary increase during that period. And all of America became vastly wealthier. Vastly wealthier. I want to let's take a break. I want to raise another point. The Big Bob Packwood tax reform op-ed from Steve and Art Laffer, and we've been talking about it on the TV show. I want to make a few points there, too, because it's related. And then the other point is Apollo Capital, which is a big money manager. They're leaving New York, or at least they're having a second headquarters. Guess where? Texas. All right. Another Mondami casualty. We got Liz Peek. We got Steve Moore. I'm Kudlow. We'll be right back.
Get ready, Staten Island.
The Ferry Hawks host the Hagerstown Flying Boxcars. Tonight at 7 p.m., it's soccer night, and kids glow around the bases postgame. Saturday at 6:30, it's Broadway night with postgame fireworks and Broadway rave. Sunday at 1:30, it's Military Appreciation Day, and the kids run around the bases.
A great day out for the entire family. Kids run the bases after every Sunday home game. Want the best seats all season? Get more Ferry Hawks for only $63. Visit ferryhawks.com now to lock in your seats.
I know we're talking money and politics, but today we're talking wealth creation. Okay, wealth creation. Very, very important. Freedom and free enterprise, which makes America the greatest country in the world. Nobody's even close to us. And we're here with Liz Peek, Fox News contributor, and Steve Moore, Unleash Prosperity Hotline, and Steve's show, More Money, WABC, coming up right after this show on most of these same radio stations. Now, Steve, I want to come back to the Packwood story, which, as you and Art noted, and look, we lived through this era when tax rates came down. I wrote a book on the subject from JFK through Reagan. Now, let me just focus for a minute on the top rate. We're talking to Steve Forbes about this earlier in the show, Steve Forbes and John McLaughlin. Republicans have stopped talking about the top rate, and they're wrong to do so because, right, small businesses, unincorporated businesses, LLC, S-corps, farms, ranches, solely owned plumbing companies, okay, electric repairmen. There's just probably 40% plus of this economy is comprised of unincorporated businesses that pay the top rate, okay? And because the top rate kicks in pretty fast. That's why, we should be getting tax reform again. We should raise this issue again. It's been beaten down and forgotten. The GOP is not talking about tax cuts. Actually, the GOP is not talking about anything right now. But I'm just saying the importance of the top tax rate, Steve, has been lost, and it shouldn't be.
It's a great story, and as and your book is so fantastic on this JFK and the Reagan Revolution, but in both of those eras, we dramatically cut tax rates. Under Reagan, when Reagan came into office, as you know, the highest income tax rate was 70%, and the corporate rate, I think, was, 50%. And after 6 years in office, thanks to people like Bob Packwood, and people forget that was Dan Rostenkowski, a Democrat, who was on the House side, who shepherded that bill through the House. It passed 97-3 in the Senate. Now, Larry and Liz, how many Democrats in Congress today do you think would vote for a 28% tax rate? I don't think you can probably find a single one. But here's the most amazing part of that story. And if you talk to Steve Forbes, he probably mentioned this. The tax collections almost doubled over that period.
Right. But I want, what yes, it's a fabulous performance story. But again, so many small businesses pay the top rate. And the Republicans used to talk a lot about this. In other words, one argument, Liz, was to drop the top rate to help small business. We don't talk about that anymore, and we should. And that would give you an excuse, by the by, to get rid of all the flotsam and jetsam loopholes that have accumulated in the last, how many years, 30 years or so, since that thing was done, 35 years. I'm just saying, this is something they should not be afraid to talk about. And,
they are.
Huh?
They
I know.
I mean, I think the Democrats have so pilloried the big, beautiful bill that Republicans are even afraid of talking about that.
Yeah.
They're afraid of talking about the tax cuts, even for working class people, no tax on tips and things like that, which you would think that the Republicans would be out pounding the table on and saying, look what we've accomplished. And by the way, the reviews, I think, Steve, you did something on this, for what those tax benefits have meant for people are enormously good. I mean, there's nothing to be ashamed of here. And yes, tax cuts go predominantly to the wealthy because the wealthy are paying the most in taxes. But somehow Republicans are really scared to death of talking about exactly what you're talking about. They're not. It isn't even in their vocabulary right now, Larry, to talk about the top rate. They're just not interested.
I know, and it gives you a chance to go back to tax reform, which is to lower the rates and broaden the base. Move towards a simpler flat tax system. But again, this idea of it is small businesses that pay the top rate, and that's GOP is supposed to be the party of small business, farmers and ranchers and independent workers. I mean, and an electrician, okay? Somebody that comes in and fix your plumbing. I mean, these are very important people. They might be earning $150,000 a year, but they're being taxed to death, and we're not helping them. We just should go after it. So you've got the Elon Musk story, which is a great story about free enterprise wealth creation. But you've got the Bob Packwood story, which is really a story about small business encouragement and incentives throughout the economy. It's just too bad because it's a key issue. Go ahead, Democrats, go ahead. Be opposed to all the small businessmen. All the electricians in your congressional district in Providence, Rhode Island, would like to see a lower tax rate. I guarantee you. And they don't talk about it.
Well, look at what happened. I think we mentioned this last week on your show. In California, the most liberal state in the country, there were about 6 tax increases on
Right.
the ballot, and they all went down in flames.
Right.
The public understands that you cannot grow the economy if you're raising taxes at the same time.
So here's another one. Not so good, but Apollo snubs Mondami. Picks Texas hotspot for second U.S. headquarters. Apollo Global Management, Mark Rowan is the CEO, has reportedly picked Austin, Texas as the city that will host its second U.S. headquarters. So listen, Apollo paid a whopping $1.276 billion in income taxes in 2025.
Wow.
Up from $106 billion the year before. And they're going to leave. Now, not the whole company, but they're going to pick a second, and they're going to do it. You know, J.P. Morgan has more people in Texas than New York. This is the trend now. And here we are, Liz, New York. What a wonderful place. And Mondami doesn't care.
He doesn't care because he won't be around to collect the due bills. And this is just a gradual slide.
Yeah.
Not everyone's going to leave at the same time. But unless there is a real change in Albany and a change in New York City about how to treat the people who are paying for all the benefits that these people want to spread around, it's going to just continue on, Larry. It is a death spiral. And we've talked about this before. You get fewer people paying all those taxes. And they basically end up, what is their sole answer? Raising taxes. Look at Kathy Hochul's state budget this year, up 9%. How many American households are raising their spending 9%? And this is at a time when supposedly they're kind of being careful about spending because they know there's a problem. 9% increase. It's just astonishing. And she lied about it.
Last thought. Texas Stock Exchange plans to start trading this summer. All right. Thank you, Liz Peek. Thank you, Steve Morris.
Thank you.
Steve's show comes up right after this show, most of these same radio stations. I'm Kudlow. Thanks for listening. We'll be back next weekend.
Thanks for listening to The Larry Kudlow Show. You can hear The Larry Kudlow Show Saturday mornings at 10. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?